In this video, we're going to look at everything you need to know about working with calendars inside of Amplify. So to start, we're going to go to the calendars section. You can click there over on the sidebar. And if you have no calendars connected, the first thing you need to do is go to your calendar settings. You can click this button or you can click up here. We're going to click that button and we are going to start and connecting a calendar. If we click add new, you see there's several options here. The most common are going to be Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar Connect. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to sign in to that Google account. You'll see Lead Connector is mentioned. That is the bridge between Amplify and these third-party services such as Google. So we're going to click continue. We have to check this box here, click continue. And within just a few seconds, you should see success Google Calendar connected. So right now we have one calendar connected. You can connect additional calendars as well. If you have, for instance, several calendars that you want to check for conflicts against, you could still book all of your appointments and meetings to one calendar. But if you wanted to check several different calendars for those conflicts, you would add some additional calendars. And then down here, you'll make sure to select those as what are called conflict calendars. The linked calendar is the one where the appointments that are generated by Amplify are going to be showing up. So we're good for now with that. So now what we're going to do is go back to calendars over here and we're going to create the actual calendar. So what we just did is we connected the Google Calendar, which is where the appointments show up, but now we need to create the interface for people to book with you within Amplify. And this will generate something similar to a Calendly link, or if you've used TidyCal or Acuity Scheduling, it'll be one of those links where people can choose times based on your availability, and then those appointments simply show up on your external Google or Outlook calendar. So let's click Create Calendar, and you'll see there's a whole bunch of different types here. There's even more if we click here. The most common ones are going to be the personal booking and the round robin. If you have a sales team and you want to divide up sales opportunities or leads that come in across the team so that Joe gets one lead and then Jane gets the next one and then is back to Joe and then Jane, so on and so forth, you can use what's called a round robin distribution. But if it's just you that they're meeting with, usually the most common choice is personal booking. It's all pretty self-explanatory. This is if you're doing some type of webinar, group training, or class, and you want several people to book at the same time, then you can do that. And then you have collective booking where you have multiple hosts that are meeting with one participant. So that would be if your company is interviewing somebody, for instance, and you want to have multiple people on your side that are going to be meeting with one individual. But for this case, what we're going to do is just a personal booking, and we're going to do free consultation. And I've selected the user in the system. And now here you can also change the custom URL. Now this is for an account called Best Guest Legal, which is our demo account. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that into the slug because it does have to be unique across the board. So we're going to do BGL for Best Guest Legal, free consultation. Let's make it 30 minutes and let's click confirm. Now we have these links here. You can see these are custom links because we've set these up previous so that they are on your domain. And this is also going to help with anything whenever you're sending these links out to people. It's just going to create a more trustworthy and reliable link. So now we can actually preview what it looks like. It should be pretty basic at this point because we haven't really done anything else to style it. We can also add some information over here on the sidebar, and I'll show you how to do that next. So if we go back, we close this out, you'll see it'll walk you through how to do all this stuff. For instance, you can edit the calendar, you can share the calendar, you can troubleshoot the calendar if you're wondering why a certain time is not showing up there. That's very helpful. And then there's some additional options as well. In this case, what we want to do is edit the calendar. Now we can add a logo, which I'll do real quick. You can click here. We already have one in media storage. So I'm going to click into here, go into our brand board. If you haven't set up your brand board, definitely make sure you're doing that. Let's put the logo in there, free consultation. Let me get a quick description. I'm going to paste in the description here. 30 minutes of free legal advice from two people who are pretty sure they passed the bar but can't find the certificate. As you can see, our demo account is pretty humorous, or at least we try to be. Group is if you want to group several calendars together so that people can choose which calendar to book on. That's more of an advanced feature and you don't necessarily need it. Now, meeting invite title. This is what's going to actually show up on your Google Calendar. This is pretty important. What I like to do is put the person who's going to be meeting, right? So the assigned user, and let's put their full name in it. So let's separate it by a pipe. So now in this case, it should show up, let's say that John Doe is booking. So we have John Doe, pipe, And then this would be Gary Nolo, who is on the best guest legal side. So that'll show up. Color, let's go with this gray color. Is a little bit more on brand. One thing is you do need to click Save Changes before you navigate to any of these other tabs over here. So now we have staff and location. Let's go with a Google Meet link. Now it's going to generate that Google Meet link automatically since I've already connected my Google account. So nothing else is needed there. Let's click Save Changes. Availability, this is pretty important. So with availability, you can click into this and set the specific work schedule for this particular user. By default, it's set Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. I can edit it if I want to. I can also set specific dates where maybe there's a holiday that Gary is not going to be working on. I can do that here. And keep in mind, this schedule will apply across the board to all the calendars that are assigned to Gary Nolo that use this particular schedule. So this is not something that is just for this one calendar. And that can also be very helpful if you have several calendars at the same time. It is not a recurring meeting. So we're just going to click Save here. Booking rules. This is where it can get a little bit confusing, but the good news is that you have these little tool tips here that you can hover over. Meeting interval controls how often the booking slots are shown. So for a 30-minute meeting, you'll have, let's say it starts at 8 a.m., you'll have one at 8:30, then 9 o'clock, then 9:30, so on and so forth. You could change that to 15 minutes if you wanted to have the meeting time start, for instance, at 8, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, so on and so forth. The duration is how long the meeting is. Minimal scheduling notice. I always like to put at least 1 day. I don't like to have same day meetings, so I'm going to put 1 day. Date range is how far out someone can book that meeting. I would recommend doing maybe 30, or, you don't want people to be booking 6 months from now with you. That can be, usually it's a mistake if they're doing that. Pre-buffer time. So this is time to block before each meeting, allowing for extra time to prepare. I would recommend either 15 or 30 minutes. Let's do 30. Same with post buffer. If the meeting runs over, I like to have a little bit of extra time there. So it's not going to let people book if they see that I have a meeting within 30 minutes after. Maximum bookings per day. This is the maximum number of meetings permitted per day on this calendar. I'm going to put 3. And maximum bookings per slot. This should stay as 1 if this is a one-on-one meeting. Look busy is a more advanced feature where if you're new and you want to hide a percentage of your available time so it doesn't look like your calendar is wide open, if it is, then you can check that box, but I usually leave that off. We're going to save changes and move down to the advanced settings. The form and confirmation. By default, they're going to ask for first name, last name, email, phone, and additional notes. And the way it'll work is people will select their time first, then they will see the form. And a lot of this is self-explanatory. We don't really need to go into too much detail here. Appointment notifications. This is very important. You want to make sure that you set this up. So this can be a little bit of tedious, but once you do it, it is done. You click into each of these, and there's different ways that people can get notified. So for instance, this one, appointment booked, this will go out right away when that booking happens. What I like to do is have the email go out as well as have an in-app notification go out to the user, right? So just make sure email is toggled on, click Save Changes, and the same with the second one here. Let's toggle email on. Cancellation, if you want to be notified, which I recommend, let's turn that on. Rescheduling, same thing, let's go on. Reminders, very, very useful to set up some reminders. If you have been approved for SMS sending, SMS reminders can be extremely useful, probably more useful than just having email. Now, if you click into the contact reminders, you can actually set several different ones. So I like to do 10 minutes before as well as 1 day before. And you can also customize these emails if you want, or you can just use the default ones. And I usually leave follow-up off because that's usually handled by other automations in the system. So we're going to click Save Changes. And finally, we have widget appearance. This is where you can upload a cover for the calendar. Let's choose one from the media storage. Let's go with the logo, and we're also going to customize the colors. A few other things I want to point out over notifications and policies is I always recommend making sure this is enabled. It should be by default, but you want Google or Outlook or iCloud to send the actual invitation. This way it shows up on the person who's booking. It'll show up on their actual calendar. You can also set the cancellation and rescheduling policies if you don't want to allow people to reschedule or canceling 2 minutes before. You can do that right here. So we're going to click Save, and we should be all set. And now we can actually preview the calendar by clicking Share Calendar. Now there's different ways you can utilize the calendar. You can copy this link. You could just open it and you can give people this link and they will be able to book directly. Another thing you can do is you can use the embed code to embed this into another website. You can even embed it into an Amplify landing page, wherever you want to put it. That's the code to do so. And that's pretty much what you need to know to set up an individual calendar. Keep in mind when you're back here on the calendars page, if you go to availability, this is where you can set up the schedules for specific users so that you don't have to go change this calendar by calendar. If you have 10 calendars, you can update it here. And as long as that calendar or all of them are using this schedule, then all those changes will carry through to all those connected calendars. That's everything you need to know for calendars. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us at support@earnworthy.com.